Okay. So we started RxJS. So last session we have seen just key what is RxJS, how do we create different observable, right? And how do we subscribe? See, these are the example what we had seen that day. So this is very plain observable. How do you create an observable? Then interval, just like in JavaScript we have set interval, same like that interval also work. Then we can create observable by using off also. Then we can create observable by using from also. What's the difference between off and from?
Of can
Very
take
fun.
any type of data type, any data type, whereas
Hmm.
from takes only the array.
And how it will work when we subscribe? There was a
One by
difference,
One
right?
after
by
Will show
observable,
everything.
will
So
emit once, and from observable emits one by one, like for loop.
right. So in off operator, whatever the data you store, you in first subscribe only you get whole the data. But in from operator, you can store only array type of data because it emits every time one by one value. So if we have four element over here, so your subscribe will execute four times. Okay. These are all unicast observable. Why unicast? Why these are unicast observable?
because we can't change the value once
Right?
they are.
Because we cannot re-emit the value. Whatever the value we said at the initialization, that's it. Okay. Then we have multicast observable. That are these: subject, behavior subject, replace subject. We can store any number of type of data, right? Multiple data we can store, and it will again execute your subscribe block. Clear? This is what we have seen till now. Now again in RxJS we have some concept, okay, like how we modify the stream and everything that we will see in the project. Okay. Now we are checking reactive form. When we first saw the reactive form, what thing we discussed? When we saw reactive form for the first time, what thing we discussed? Did we discuss everything? No, right? Very basic thing we discussed. What was those basic thing? How to create reactive form and form validation. Only two things we discussed.
Yes.
Okay. Now some more things are also there. Okay. Where it was? Where is form? Okay, we moved it to a different component. Let's create new component. We start with the fish. Generate component reactive advanced enter. Now, when we talk about reactive form, there are two ways actually to create the reactive form. One we have already seen. What was that? One we have already seen. What was that?
Using form group.
Using form group. Another way is there by using form builder service. Okay. So see, let's say we have an employee form colon form group is equal to new form group bracket curly bracket. Then let's say emp name colon new form control and initialization, right? City new form control round bracket step new form control, like this. This is one way what we have seen. This is the one way how you create a reactive form. Okay. Now there is another way also. Before going to that, like in ng model, let's say you have a one text box only and you want to bind it to your normal variable, right? What you do, if you have just one variable, one text box, and you want to bind it with your variable, what you do? What you do in template form? You create
That
a variable
object,
only,
yeah.
right? You create a no. I just have one text box.
Okay, one.
One variable you will create, and that
Yeah,
variable
yeah.
you will bind,
Bind
right?
it, yeah.
So same way, if you have just one text box, but you want it to join with your reactive form instead of going for a template. Okay. So same thing you can do it over here also. Okay. So this is your whole form. Just like in template form, how do you create a reactive means complete form? In template, how do we create a complete object? But if it is a single variable and that single variable you want to bind it to a single reactive form by means this is multiple, right? But now here we just have a text box, so we won't create a form and inside that we will have a single control. Instead of that, you can create an individual control also. No need of form. Okay. Let's say this is search box data type form control, individual control. Instead of your form group and then inside that creating a control, you are creating individual control like this. See, this is your reactive form. Inside that reactive form you have your various control, right? But this is your individual control. It is not related to any your what do we say, form group. Understood? And this you can bind now. Now if it was a reactive form, what you do, on the form tag you bind form group and then form controller name. But if it is a single individual control, you bind it with your form control in as a property binding. Why it's not coming? You put it this right. Form control is equal to this square bracket. Okay. If you have a single control, you bind it to your element like this. Property binding form control, not form controller name. Form controller name, you will use it inside the form group only when you have a form. But if it is a single element, you bind like this. Just like in template form, how do you create a normal variable and you bind it? Clear? See, if I initialize any value over here, A, B, C, your text box should render with that value. See, A, B, C. Understood? So now your text box and your control are working together. Clear? Everyone? Why we should know this? In interview they are above 4 plus or 5 plus, they are asking you to implement that debouncing. That uh, this example, let's say Amazon or
Yeah,
Search box.
search box, right? Search box functionality. This functionality they will ask you, right? So for that you should know this. Okay, we cannot do that without this. Okay, means we can do this with this also, means we will create a form group and that control and then we will bind, but this is the right way for that. Okay, so just know it. In normal working on the project, we never go for this unless it is very specific requirement. Okay, but for interview purpose, this should be this you should know.
Yeah, some
Right?
small page is there, right? For some search result is needed.
Yeah,
Then
it is
in that case, it is.
possible, right? Okay, now means let's say you have a UI like this. You have, let's say, one search box and you have another search box, and on click of button you are going to make an API call. But API call is also like this. Let's say API dot API slash get result question mark. Let's say this first one is for name equal to something you provide, and second is the surname equal to this. Let's say your URL is like this. So instead of having the object, from object also you are going to extract one property, and that you are going to pass it over here. So instead of having it as an object, you can have a single control also, and that you can pass it over here. That is also fine. Okay. So normally in searching only we might sometimes use that. Fine. Now coming back to our second way of creating the reactive form. Let me comment this. Employee form. Okay. So now in HTML no changes will be there. Just in the .ts, how do you create a reactive form? There only it will be changes. Form group. I'm just declaring it. I'm not initializing it. Then constructor, and we have to create an instance of our form builder service. Okay, form builder is equal to inject form builder. Okay. Now in constructor, this dot your employee form is equal to this dot form builder dot group, round bracket, curly bracket, enter. Okay. So this dot employee form means same thing here also you can do, but we create an object, so we should use the service in the constructor or in another function. That's why we are doing it over here. So we just created a reactive form. Okay. Now in case of form group, you were doing like this dot your form group colon new form group is equal to and control name and new control, right? But here this is like that, this dot form builder dot group. Okay. Then your control name, emp name colon square bracket. Okay. Just see the syntax is different. First parameter will be your initialization value. Then your array validators dot whatever required, like this multiple array. City colon array initialization, then your validation if you need. State colon square bracket like this. This is the reactive form using form group. This is using your form builder. Clear? These are the two ways how you create the reactive form. Now you will have the question like which one is better and which one is not. Both work the same way. Okay. But this is directly, what do we say, boilerplate code word is there, means directly the service Angular internally used, that service they have exposed. That's it. Okay. Again, it depends on the project to project what they use. Sometimes they use form group also, sometimes they use form builder also. So here you have to write this dot form builder dot group and control name and square bracket only initialization value and the validation. No need to initialize your new form control like this. That's the difference. Remaining thing, how do you bind it to the HTML? Everything stays the same. No difference in that. Let's quickly create it.
Sir, about set value and patch value.
Yeah. No difference in that. We are going to see that. Okay. So these are the two ways how you create the reactive form. Either you use form group or that. It's one and the same thing. In interview, they ask like how many ways are there to create the reactive form. That's why we should know it. Both the form are same. Form controller name equal to emp name. How do you read the reactive form value? Let's say you need the object, because we don't pass the reactive form to the API, right? We can pass the object only. How do you read the reactive form value? Hmm. Alright, we have already seen this. How do you? Because for our API, can we send the reactive form directly to the API?
No, dot controls that property, right?
No, I'm saying, let's say on the click of this button, you have to pass the API, you have to pass the object to the API call. How do you get the object from the reactive form? Yes, Suresh.
This
Can you
employee
expand
form
the
dot value.
editor, please?
Sorry, Suresh, go ahead.
Can you expand the editor, please?
Which one?
Editor, VS Code editor.
What you didn't understand? This side window I have opened this.
The font is showing very small. It seems that
Okay.
minimize.
Here, go to the view, appearance, and here you can see zoom in, zoom out is there. See, zoom out. Appearance, zoom in. Like this we can do. Settings related to your VS Code is over here.
No, I mean to say your VS editor in the zoom, I mean to say. Here it's small.
No, I just increase the size now. Does
Okay.
it change now?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So my question is, on click of save, how do you get the form value of this form?
Using form controller name property.
No. Let's say
This
here you
dot
have the API call. For API call, can you send this object from employee form? No, no. What do we send to the API call?
this dot employee form dot values.
Right. We have seen this, na, this dot employee form dot value. This will get you the object, na? And that object you will pass it to the API, correct? In normal your template form, you directly have the object. That object you pass it. But in employee form, in reactive form, you have the form. You cannot pass the form. You need the value object. So from reactive form, you can extract the value by using this. See it one more time. Okay. So we created a reactive form. We bind it to the form controller name. What is missing? See the code and tell me what is missing.
Form group.
Form group is missing. Okay. So on the form tag, form group equal to your employee form name. We'll go over here. Okay. Let's see now. ABC. Manage. On click of button. You see, we got the object. This is why city and state is not there. Okay, we didn't change the image there. Okay, so you got the object. Okay, now let's say once city value change, you need to write some code on it. Okay, if the city value does get changed, you have to write some code. How you will do that? Those who knows already, you don't have to say. We 32 people. If the city value get changed, you need to write some code. Let it be anything.
Value changes.
Okay, so in reactive form and in template form, how you will do it? Let's say if it was a template form and
ng model change.
ng model change or text box normal change event, na, like this.
Yeah.
Change function or input or anything, right? And then you will write the function. But in reactive form, it is reactive. Whenever something change, you can react on it. Where you have used this word react on it? Where we have discussed we can react on it. RxJS, na? RxJS is reactive, right? So in employee form also, employee in reactive form, we have some functionality provide which are there in from reactive form. Okay. Now let's say from this employee form, if your city value get changed, you need to write some code. So what you do, this dot employee form dot controls square bracket city, your control name, dot value changes. What type of data value changes is having? What type?
Observable.
See, observable. So if it is returning observable, what we can do, and see what is the type of this observable? We have two types of observable, right? Unicast and multicast.
This is
This is
multicast.
multicast because obviously city you can change multiple time, na? Okay. So value changes dot subscribe from bracket city name. Okay. See now. Or yeah, let's add a debugger.
Now, how can they decide that it's the multicast?
When
How
see
can they
unique
decide multi?
unicast is whenever you create the observable, that time only you put some value. That's it, unicast. You cannot again change the value of the unicast, like the from and to. But multicast is you can store multiple value over multiple time. You can change the value. Okay, that is your multicast. Multicasting, multiple value you can store. Now see, once I change the text box value, your subscribe got executed and you got the P, whatever you typed over here. Value changes. Whenever there is a value in city control, your subscribe will execute.
Yep.
You see, getting it?
Mhm.
And value you are able to receive. Value changes. Understood?
Yes.
So every time there is a change in the city, your subscribe will execute. So in reactive form, if you want to write a code, whenever any control value get changed, whenever any input element drop down checkbox value get changed, you have to write a code on that. So you will use value changes, and inside this you will write whatever the code you have to write. Understood?
Yes.
Value changes. Whenever there is a value change, your observable will trigger and your subscribe will execute. And here you get the value also, whatever the value has changed. Understood?
Yeah.
See now. Currently what we did from the UI, user has changed the value. But we can change the value from .ts also. Okay. Let's say we initialize the form over here. After that, I will add the set timeout. Okay. After 3 seconds, I want to change the value of city. So this dot, how now we are seeing second topic, that is how do we change the control value from .ts. Means from UI directly you can change, you can access the element and you can change the value. But let's say from .ts you have to change the value. Okay. Let's say what we want to do, if if state value get changed, you want to change the city value also. Correct, na? If your state got
Yes.
changed, obviously city value you have to empty. User has to again provide, na? Let's say user has added Pune and user has provided MH. But let's say city was Pune, that's why state was MH. But let's say he added Goa. So obviously city needs to change. So we can remove this value to keep it empty.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So after 3 or once the state change, now I have to empty the city value. So here this dot employee form dot controls square bracket single quote, what you need to write on state dot value changes dot subscribe from bracket state. Okay. So what I need to do, whenever there is a change in the state, I need to empty the city value. Okay. So this dot employee form dot control, you have to, every time you have to select the specific control name city dot set value method is there, and you can initialize the empty value. This will set it empty. See now, two things will happen out. Okay.
Chetan, instead of set value, if I used dot value equals to empty, will that work or that will not?
No. Value, we don't use that. Okay. Set value and patch value, two methods are there. We don't directly deal with the property. Okay. Now see, let's say user had added, every time it will execute now. We will copy paste. Copy paste. Okay. City subscribe got executed because change is there. Pune we got. I added MAH. Okay. This also getting subscribed. See what is happening now? Every time state is changing, state subscribe is getting executed and city subscribe is also getting executed. Why?
Because we have written the code.
But now what will happen? Every time when you add some value to the state, your city value is getting empty.
Single character if you add, still it
Right?
is something like that.
It
Yeah.
should not work like that, right? When we discussed the task, we thought, yeah, we could do that, but we cannot do like that, because every time whenever a state value change, this is getting triggered, right? And it is,
Yes.
we are simply removing it. Got it? So my point was, you see, if I add a Nagpur, okay, whenever you change the city value, your subscriber is getting executed. Okay, see one more time. Your subscribe got executed of city change. Now if I change the state value, from state value you are changing the value of the city also. See, still again your subscribe got executed because your control value get changes now. Either you do it from UI or from the code also. Every time whenever there is a change in your city, your subscribe will execute. Understood? It's not just the UI. From your code also, based on some condition, you are changing the city, your subscribe will execute. Understood?
But even here, our scenario, like, okay, that what we are expecting, that is happening, but like with logic, it is failing, right? Like,
Yeah, with logic it is failing.
so in this, how should we do
We
this
cannot,
then?
na? How you will
We
do it?
cannot.
There is no way, right?
If we
Vice
convert
versa.
these,
If state is here and city is after, then you can manage it. Correct? Means currently what do we have? UI is like this, na? City is first and then state is there. Now same logic will work. Yes or no? Now it will work, na? Fine. See, MAH, okay? Nagpur. Now if you change the city, it should change. Now it is working fine. We just flip the control. Understood?
if we now change
Because
the city, if we type anything in city, state will still get cleared, right?
yeah, again same problem what we had earlier, that will happen. Okay, understood? But the first case what we said, it is working now. Okay, so in reactive form, if you want to change the value of the control, there are two ways: set value and patch value. Let's check the difference of that. Okay, on the page load only I'm doing it right now. So this dot employee form on set timeout we will do, instead of having directly in set timeout I will do 3 seconds. So this dot employee form. If you want to change the individual control name, you can use your set value method. Individual control. From your reactive form, only one control value you would need to change. You can use set value. But you can use this set value method on the whole form also. Okay. So set value, round bracket, curly bracket, then emp name, RRR, city, Mumbai, state, MH. Okay, let's see. When I'm initializing the form, I'm initializing all my controls with the empty value. But after 3 seconds, I'm changing the value by using set value. Okay, save. So see, wait, why city doesn't get changed? Because of this. Okay, because here you are changing the state now. Again, this will trigger and your set value will get empty. That's why city value was got emptied. Understood now? See. By default, it is empty. After 3 seconds, value will get initialized. But city value doesn't get initialized. Why? Because you are changing the state over here now. So again, this will execute and again city value will get emptied. Okay, if I comment this, then city value will stay as it is. So whenever in a reactive form you write value changes, you have to be so careful. See, now it is there. Okay, set value. Just like that, we have patch value also. I'm copying this. And instead of set value, I'm using patch value. Okay, I'm commenting the set value thing. Or let's say here after 6 seconds we will do. So first, and value we didn't change. Let's say PPP, Panji, Goa, say 60,000, 6,000. So after 3 seconds, value will get Mumbai and everything. Wait, how it changed everything? Something we missed. Set value we use, and here we use patch value. Patch is the value it accepts to an object, and control name says it does the best to match the values to the control. And set value, set the value of the point accept object and value. How come it is behaving the same? Okay, yeah. If I remove this from set value and now and from both the ways, I'm removing city. Okay. At the time of it breaks. So see, when we remove the city at line number 31, it breaks. Where? In the set value. Okay. If I let's say if I comment this. Now in patch value also city is missing. Only 2 fields we are updating, employee name and state. Now we are not getting that error. Okay, but if we are using set value and if one of the property is missing, we are getting an error. So what does it understand? What it is understanding by this? If we are using
Set
patch
value.
value,
Set value, we need all the properties, right?
okay, patch, you know the patch, where do we use the patch word? Where do we use this patch word in normal English? Patch.
If anything is broken, right, for that particular
Right,
thing.
instead of changing everything, we just change that. If you have a road, government road, if a hole is there, they don't rebuild the whole road, no? They just fix that patch, right? Production, we use this word in production, right? If something we started, we developed, and we it goes to the live on the production. But if something scenario is breaking, right? So we just fix that patch, patch fix we say, production fix we say. Okay, so patch value, the patch value method allows you to update only certain fields only one field. If you want to change only one field also, that is also okay. And this is I'm talking on the form level, not on the individual control. On individual control you can use the set value and patch value, very same thing. But here, when you use the set value and patch value on the whole form, so set value need all the properties present, then only it will work. That's why if we don't provide the city, it is breaking. It is saying we need that city value also. Must supplies value for the form control name with city also. It will check how many controls you have and how many you provided. It needs the whole object only. Okay. But in case of patch value, if you pass one or two values also, it is fine. Understood? So when you will use this and when you will use this?
When we don't have to change all the values, like when we
Right.
just have in the edit case, like we just want to update some
Right.
fielder.
So if you from your form, let's say in your reactive form, you have hundreds of fields and you just want to update only two or three. So you can go with this. But if you want to change the whole object, you will go for the set value. Understood? Clear all?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Clear everyone? Understood now? So set value and patch value. This method will work on the whole form also and your individual control also. Like this, we have used it over here. Okay. Now here, if we have a checkbox, is address mandatory. Okay.
Actually, also use individual,
Patch value is also used in
individual, just like set value. Individually, we can
okay,
use
individually. Yeah. No. So I think no. I also didn't try. Let me try. Because it expect an object. Let's see. Let's see city. I don't know. Goa. Ranchi. Yeah, it was the same. Okay. Now, so is active. False. So is mandatory. So like this. So now this control name we are binding on the our checkbox. Now what I need to do, if user said if this is checked, both of these fields should be required now. Okay, and if user uncheck, these are not mandatory. Means what we need to do?
required field true.
We need to add dynamic validation. Now state and city validation depends on this checkbox. If this checkbox is checked, both field will be required. And if this checkbox is unchecked, this will be optional. So validations is now dynamic. Correct? So can we add the validation over here itself?
No.
No, right? Because the validation depends on the value change of this, correct? So we have to write the value change. So this dot employee form dot controls square bracket single quote your control name dot subscribe, sorry, not value changes, dot subscribe round bracket flag. Here we have to write the if condition, right? If the checkbox is checked, then only we need to add the validation. So if condition must be there. So if it is true, flag equal to true, then we need to add the dynamic validation. Now this dot your employee form dot control, again every time we have to select the control. This line is getting repeated so many times. We can reduce it also, but we will see later. Add validators method is there. What it will expect? Add validator method. What type of data it will expect?
Array.
Array, right? Because you know, na, validations can be multiple. So if you have a
Multiple
method
validations,
to add
yeah.
the validation, obviously it will expect an array. See, okay? So square bracket, sorry, round bracket, square bracket, validators dot required. Then like that, multiple you can add. And state. Okay. And do we need a else block also? Do we need else block? Or just if block will work? Fine.
No, we need because every time after value unchecked, we need to remove
Right?
this
We need to remove
validation.
it also, na? See, whenever you work on a very big enterprise level application, na, if you just write the if block, na, if your TL or whoever is reviewing your code, if he is properly intelligent, he will ask you what you are doing in the if block and why not vice versa you are handling. If you are doing something in if block, vice versa should be there, na? Yes or no?
Yes.
Sometimes we have a scenario like in the if condition we have to do that, else we don't have to do that. But that will be 10% chances only. But 90% time, whenever you are doing something in a block, obviously you need to revert it in your else block. Vice versa, whatever logic it might be there. Okay. Normally you get the PR review comment because when you raise the PR, whoever the person is reviewing the code, he cannot understand the whole code what you have written. Can he really understand what you have written and why you have written? Let's say there is a team of 20 UI people and one team lead is there. Now 20 people are working on different stories. Can team lead understand, connect with everyone and try to understand what is written over here, what is not? Is it possible? Try to think it. Is it possible really? It's not possible. He cannot have that all that code in his mind. Na? He will just check the standards, what you have done, right? So if you are writing something, if means you are doing something. So in else condition, you need to undo it also, na? Okay. So here, this dot, same thing line, will go over here, and instead of add validator, remove. No, what is that? Remove validator. Okay. So if the flag is true, we are adding the validation, and if we are changing it, we are removing it. But we have to show the validation also now. So I'm just adding a div text ranger, and here I will just show the validation. So at the ref your employee form dot controls square bracket state dot errors question mark dot square bracket required. Okay, and here I will simply say this is required. Okay, let's see now. It won't work, but I wanted to show you why this is not visible. Okay, by default we don't have validation, right? So if I remove this and if I check this, wait, something is breaking. No. Let's debug it properly. Employee form dot control dot state errors REQUI required. Spelling is also correct. So if I change the text checkbox value, well flag is true, so it will go over here. We have added it. Ha, got it. Okay, so why it is not removing? Ki reactive form, you know that difference we have template form and the reactive form. Template form supports two-way data binding, but reactive form doesn't support two-way data binding. There is a reason for that. So whenever you are changing the UI, your value, you in case of reactive form, you have to update the form employee form dot update value and validity. This extra line you need to run. Then only UI will detect the changes. Okay. So whenever you add validation or remove validation, you have to write, you have to again write this line: update value and validity. Then UI will show the updated rules. Okay. Still it is not showing. Something is wrong. State. It's empty. No, it is coming. Okay, now it started coming. Okay. But why it is not getting removed? If it is checked and if I don't provide the value, now it is not triggering. It's empty. Now it is working. Okay, and if I check, uncheck, provide value, and if I remove it, now it's not showing. If I check, if I provide value, and if I remove, it's working. Uncheck. Why it is not removing this immediately? Because it has. See, now I think this is not a problem, but this is just a behavior. See, what is happening here in the reactive form, this particular state, this control, whenever you see the first time behavior, it is working. Let's say you reload, you visited this page for the first time. Okay, you will fill this checkbox. Okay, you touched it, but why on the touch it is not triggering? That is also issue. Or let's this set value we are doing now might be causing this problem. Let's try one more time. Okay, user said it is mandatory, and if it didn't provide it, but why it is not providing? And once if I am writing it and then remove, then it is triggering. Why first time it is not? This should be always visible or no? Once I am providing the value and removing, then it's showing the validation. Why it is behaving like this? Employee form dot control dot state errors required correct only. You're getting the
Do
error,
we
right?
have to mention explicitly like touched like that property?
No,
Eh,
touched it's something else, na? So, when we saw the reactive form, by default only
Yeah.
your validation were coming. See,
Hmm.
if you add for this, same thing I will add it for the name. Name directly we have the validation. So it will trigger by default only. See, visible directly, right?
Yeah.
So same thing, if I'm changing this, I'm adding the validation over there on the state, but it is not triggering. But if I'm providing the value, then I'm removing it, then it is showing the validation. Why is this behavior?
Because of the question mark.
Hmm? No, that is here also we have. See,
Hmm. Question mark, does it makes it optional?
no, that is just to check if this error object is not null or something. It should not break. That's why we have added it. But it should work. Let's try. After every line. It should not be because one time only we can do. Let's try. No. I will also check why this is not behaving like this. Okay, it will be. I will check. But this is how we add the dynamic validation. Add validators, whatever the validation you want to add, like that you add it. On remove validator, this is how you. But every time when you add and when you remove, update value and validity you should have. Okay. Then only UI will detect the changes. Otherwise, UI won't detect the changes. See, if I remove this, currently whatever the behavior we have. Okay. If I change this and if I provide the value and if I remove it. Okay, now also it is displaying. Why this change something or what? Let's read it out. Recalculate the value and validation status of the control. By default, it also update the value of its ancestor. Only self. When true, only update this control. When false or not supplied, update all the ancestor. Default is false. Yeah. Status changes, value changes in event. Okay, let me check this. What things are changed now. Okay, so this is how we add the validation and remove the validation. One more thing is there. Let's say if this checkbox is unchecked, okay, if this checkbox is unchecked, I want to disable the field also. If it is optional, I don't want this enabled. Means I have a requirement like if this is unchecked, I want to disable this field. How you will do the same thing in your template form?
In disable properties to put that true and false.
How do you add? How do we enable and disable the field?
On the checkbox, we can that property to
Check property.
uh,
Okay. In normal text box, you will use disable property, but checkbox checked property is there. But in reactive form, so in the false block, right here, this dot employee form dot controls square bracket single quote city only I'm disabling dot disabled directly method is there. So see if I'm changing it to false, see getting it, your city got disabled. This is enabled, but this is disabled.
Yeah.
Okay, enable and disable just like disabled. vice versa, enable. Okay, disabled, enable. Understood? So enable and
Yes.
disable is also there. So this is also possible in reactive form. In template form, you have to write the manual code, go to the use the property binding, pass the condition. But in reactive form, from .ts only you can enable or disable any field. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So see how many things we are seeing. Again, one more session we will be needing for reactive form, where we create dynamic control itself. Means your control are not static; it is dynamic, and one-to-many relationship also. So this is one way to create a reactive form by using form group. Another way is by using form builder. This has nothing to do with HTML. Doesn't matter you create a form group with this or this. HTML change, never change. Okay, it is just a way how you initialize your reactive form. Okay, then set value and patch value. If you want to change one control value, this dot employee form, your form name, control, city name, patch value or set value you can use. If you want to change the whole form, set value and patch value method is there, but set value expect all the key value pair data. Patch value is like certain fields you want to change, you will go for patch value. Then value changes. If any control from your form, if any control value get changed, you have to write a code on that. So you will use value changes. Okay, like this. Then by using add validator, you can add the validations also, dynamic validation, remove validation, you will remove it, enable and disable. Okay. So tomorrow one more session we need just for our reactive form. There we will see how do we create dynamic controls and one-to-many relationship. Let's say you have an employee form. Inside that, single information is of employee, but validators are multiple, right? So on click of add, one more row should get added. So that dynamic control we will see.
And nested forms, right?
Nested form also is
controls.
also. Nested form is easy. In this only in one control we will have another form. We will also see that tomorrow.
And there is one concept also, right? Form array.
Yeah, that's only one-to-many form array. Okay. Fine. So those who are learning Angular for the first time, tomorrow's session, if you understand or not, give it some time. Okay. Those who knows Angular little bit, they will able to relate. But if you are learning Angular for the first time, it is very advanced topic and not guaranteed that you will understand in the first time only. Okay. Scenarios and logic you should understand, but the code and everything, it's okay if you don't understand. Even today also, for some it might be hard. Okay, because so many things are there, small. Fine. Anyone having any question?
Chetan, in between I had got disconnected. So, like, where did you set that flag to false? Like here we are just checking true false. Where are we setting
From
on
UI.
that check?
Yeah, here, no? Here we are changing. Okay, from UI.
Okay, it gets set by default. We are not like coding to set
No,
it.
no. What was happening with state? Whenever you change your value, changes was getting triggered, na?
Yes.
Same thing over here. You are changing the control value, na? In this case,
Hmm.
it was a text box. Here you have a checkbox. So your
Yeah.
value changes will trigger, na? But it's a checkbox, so directly true false
True
value you
false.
get it over here. Same behavior.
Yeah.
Okay.
This one time question was asked to me, and I had not worked that much on Angular. And they asked like how to set dynamic this
Validation.
validation. So I was
Hmm.
not having any idea. Add
Yeah, one more
validator.
thing is there. You can, the validators dot require min length, max length, just like that. You can create your own validation rule also. Okay, remind me
Yeah.
tomorrow. We will see that also.
Custom validators.
Custom validator is called.
Yeah.
Okay, might be possible. Not everything will be able to complete tomorrow, or we will see in
Yeah.
the project also.
Yeah.
Fine. Okay. So, uh, so first project we will complete in evening. Second project you only have to do, so morning I will explain, then you have to complete that. C database C sharp, can we connect in morning only, or everyone is okay with evening? Or because my office timing is around 10 in evening, it will span around 10. So might be possible, like most of the people are from US only, so they will come in evening. So in evening my time will be packed also.
We can connect in morning. Like I'm good.
Okay, so possible we will connect in morning only, but sometimes we will connect in evening also, because so many things are there again. .NET, then C sharp basic, then API, right? Then once that is done, then we have to the React also basic. Okay, so parallelly, morning only we will be regular, but if let's say some topics are there which need to be completed one day, we will connect in evening also based on availability. Fine.
Yes.
Okay, fine then. Anyone having any question?
A question.
Yeah, sure.
Sir, regarding project, we have session in evening.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the next component to be created?
We completed batch, na? Session.
Batch and candidate also done. That
You
too I
did the
did.
candidate, I didn't do.
So shall we go with the session now?
Now then?
Hello?
Morning?
No, session component, I'm asking.
Yeah, session only we will do, because candidate is again basically CRUD operation only, na? Nothing new in that. So we will directly
Okay,
go for a session, because there we have foreign key.
Okay, sir. Yeah, thank you.
So those who have completed your batch, you can complete the candidate also. It is the same. No, what do we say? No, before session we have to complete the enrollment. First batch you will get create, then candidate you will create, then you have to do the enrollment, na?
Okay,
Then
sir.
session. Okay. Fine. Okay then.
Thank you, sir.
Bye all.